This is kind of deja vu. Last year I can remember sitting here first day after practice and going, wow. I sit here a year away from practice last year and watched our first practice, and I told the team that I don't know how good we're going to be. We'll wait and see on that. But I think when I compare practices from last year to this year, it's like night and day. I just think it was something that you anticipate and you're hoping is going to take place, and it did. The energy, obviously, but just the guys knowing what to do, especially on defense. And offensively, I was pretty impressed with all the quarterbacks, to be quite honest. They've been in the building every day since they got here, and it showed on the field. The offense, it wasn't perfect by any stretch of imagination, but just going through the logistics of making the call and getting the ball out of their hand and going with urgency, it was a lot different than last year. So those are the things that I take away from this one. Obviously not pads on, but the effort was there. As you guys know, we have approximately probably 20 more guys coming in here, which will be interesting. That'll bring another energy when they show up here in the summer. But the new ones that are here, I love the effort, and it was just fun to watch compared to last year. Questions?
As a coach, are you just kind of ready to get back out and start coaching?
Yeah, and I think going early like this helps us in a lot of ways. I just believe visiting with other coaches on the when the season was ended, and visited with a lot of head coaches, called a couple guys and talked to them about it, and they said, a couple of guys said, yeah, I wish we could do it, but the conditions won't allow us because of where we live, and so I said, this is what I'm thinking. They said, yeah, Coach, that's nothing wrong with what you're doing, so I think it just helps us in a lot of ways with a young team like this. The 15 practices are important, but I think when those are done, the weight room and the time we'll get to spend in the classroom is even more important. And to have a block of 2 months to be able to do that without any kind of breakup in, well, we got to go to spring and all this stuff. It just flows. It just makes us better. We got to get stronger as a football team, and I think that will help us. So, and if an injury should happen, you can recover. You got time to recover if something like that happens too. So I like going early. I think the players like going early. They were excited, so we'll see what happens.
Sometimes in situations where a guy's been waiting like Dylan, and then Manny leaves or Ripper
Yeah.
in front of him, they can make a difference. Do you see any of that?
Yeah, I think we saw it on the whole offseason. Guys lost 20-something pounds. It looks like a different player. And he knows that he's got competition. And we talked about that today. I told the team, I said, hey, look, this is about competition. It's always been that way. When I took this job here, I told you that. You get first shot at it. And I said, there's 20 guys coming in the summer. They're coming to compete. And you got a head start. It's like the guys last year had a head start. And some guys came in here in the summer, young freshman guys, and ended up playing a lot. And some of them ended up starting. And I anticipate that's probably going to happen again, to be quite honest. But we'll wait and see. But I think the players realize that the environment is competitive, and I think the culture, they understand the culture now. They've been in it 1 year. They're accepting it because they know that's what it's about. It's never personal. It's just about competing and getting better as a football team.
So as far as the quarterbacks, I know that you splitting the reps 2 and 2.
Yeah.
Do you anticipate that going full length of the 15 sessions? Will there be like some point of spring practice?
I think that's the fair way to do it, but Coach Likens and myself will talk about it. Now, if you see a slump or something, I just think these guys are young, as well as Dylan. He needs reps as well. So I'm sitting in the meetings. I sat in the quarterback meetings today. My suggestion to him was real simple. I said, just don't throw it to the guy in the white jersey. You'll be fine. And they get that part. And I'm going to be in every meeting, and it's going to be fun to watch them. They're very competitive, all 4 of them. They know what's at stake. One of these guys is going to walk out of that room, whether it's in the summer or whenever it may be, he's going to be a starting quarterback. And that's big. As we know, ASU has had a history of really good quarterbacks. And you're stepping into a position that when you're that guy, there's pressure. And I think what I like about it is the 3 freshmen that come in here, they understood that. I mean, they understood, well, I'm going to come compete. And, you know, Dylan understood that we're bringing some guys in. It's open competition, and we'll see where it falls.
You had a number of guys leave
Mm-hmm.
over the offseason, and that's going to happen
Sure.
about everywhere. But
Yeah.
a couple of key guys on the defensive line, how does that affect your depth?
Depth, you're right, especially in the spring, and it has affected our depth. But I addressed the team yesterday, and I said, look, I'm going to, you know, tell you guys right up front that I'm not naive, as this happens in college football. I'm thankful for the contribution of the guys that had a year of eligibility left and decided to leave, and that's okay. We're going to bring more guys in here and give them opportunities. We're thin right now, but, you know, help's on the way. I told the D lineman, help's on the way, and wait till you see the help that's coming.
You've always said that you're going to play the new guys if they're good enough to be out there.
Oh, yeah.
Is this just a byproduct of, you know, the upperclassmen who kind of waited their turn, saying like, hey, young guys are coming in and maybe taking my spot, and then, I mean, is this the natural byproduct?
I think that's part of it. I really do. It's about competition, and it's about fair competition. And I think when you look at it and you look at the program, I think they realize this too. Like last year, the guys we brought in here, they're pretty good. I think the guys we're going to bring in here, I'll say it again, they're pretty good. And if you don't understand that, you're going to be standing on the sideline watching. It's just real simple. And that's the culture here. And I can't say it enough. It's about competing every day in the classroom, in the walkthrough, on the field. Your resume is written every day when you walk in this building. And that's what I look at. I look at your resume. And then I say, does your resume match up with what we're trying to do? We're trying to win the Pac-12 and be in competition every year like we were this year. We're down the stretch. We had an opportunity, and we didn't get it done. We want to be in that situation every year. And the more the guys understand that, it becomes the culture. It becomes the players run the locker room. And that's what you want. And you make the point that we got some help coming along. And it's going to be fun. And I was riding back, and I just said, man, I was just thinking about the guys that are coming in that will help this football team with the guys we already have. I said, this is going to be fun now, especially when they all get here.
I was just speaking along the same lines, the signing day tomorrow versus what could be available from a grad transfer perspective later. How do you balance what you have left versus?
Well, we keep a couple. We keep a couple extras. That's kind of our plan as well. And I think that's what helps us with spring ball, because we can evaluate our guys. And when spring ball's over, a lot of guys are just starting. And we know in March, when a lot of the colleges start spring ball, guess what's going to happen? April shows up, and there'll be some grad transfers, and we'll have an opportunity to pluck one or two. And that's part of, you know, the DNA of how we recruit as well. You know, this college is, the only thing different is they get to pick you in the NFL draft. NFL draft, there's free agency. In college, there's free agency now. It's called put your name in the portal or be a grad transfer. It's happened. It happens in high school. These kids transfer from there. That's the world we live in. So I get that world. That's the world I was in for 30 years. And so you know there's free agency. And so free agency is about to happen after spring, because names are going to show up in the portal at different positions. And we're going to have a couple scholarships left and available to say, okay, guy wants to transfer, and he meets our DNA. We did that last year. That wasn't just by accident. That's what we do. So that's just part of, you know, how you recruit as well. And we understand some things are going to come available in the spring.
Sean Guano had a really successful program at Chandler. Did you have to do any selling to get him to come here?
No, I know Sean and have a high regard for him. I worked with him in the Under Armour All-American game a couple of years. He was actually on my staff a couple of times, and so that's what was great about it too. As I was learning the culture of young athletes, I also learned about a lot of high school coaches. Just happens to be he was on my staff a couple of years that I was there for 8 years, and he was on my staff I think 2 or 3 times, along with a lot of great coaches all across the country. and you connect with certain guys. And when we lost our running back coach, you know, an advancement in his career as far as felt like he could go somewhere else and put himself in position to be a coordinator, and that was great for him. That was the first call.
You two seem to have similar personalities, kind of the upbeat and positive. Is that part of the connection?
Yeah, and he's a great coach. And, you know, visiting with Sean in the Under Armour games, and, you know, I've gone to his high school a couple times. When he coached the championship game and the playoff game, I saw him, and he's a good match for our staff, and great football coach. He's a wonderful football coach, and he's a great father. He's got a great family, and so all those things are important to me. I mean, it's more than just coaching. You know, it's when you get good people and you're building good men. That helps you a lot.
When you talk about the competition as well, like with in the running back, obviously you know how the last year, I mean, you would love to be able to take that, but how do you feel that affects the backs?
Well, they're going to, you know, he can't carry, we carried the ball, I think 500 and ran about 515, 520 times. He carried it about 300 plus. You need another running back. And we've got some here, some young ones, and never know what's going to happen. You know, next couple days, never know. See what happens.
You probably thought that Kevin Kawhi this day would come for him, but can you just comment a little about what it means to you to see him?
I mean, you know, I was fortunate that there was 3 guys involved in it this year that I had the privilege of coaching, and Kevin happened to be one of them with me at the Jets. Tony Gonzalez, in Kansas City, and John Lynch, and so. My family, we had our fingers crossed for all 3 of them. You know, 2 of them made it, John did not. And I just think when you're around guys like that, it's a pleasure coaching a guy like that, because they're committed to the great game of football. I mean, they really are. And I've known Kevin for a long time. I'm fortunate enough to have him on our staff now, you know, and it's kind of ironic. If you go in his room, you know, we set up, and he didn't know it was coming, but we got balloons and we got pictures. And my wife had a picture of me and Kevin on the sideline embracing, you know, because we used to hug before every game, and she got that. Somebody had given her that picture. And we still do it now, before the game and after the game. Kevin Wise would give me a hug. That's what we did. We did it for my 5 years with the Jets, you know, and we still do it today. And it's quite an honor when a guy reaches that in his career. You know, that's something, that's an individual award, but it's the highest award you can have as a football player, is to go into Hall of Fame. I've been there. I've played in that game. If I wasn't here working, I would be at the venue. Every year I was at that venue. I was working for the worldwide leader at the venue, and we had our own, you know, stage up there, and we were bringing guys up there, and it's fun to see all the guys. And for him to go in and what he's meant to the league and what he's meant to me as a coach. You know, he was our rookie year. You inherit a pretty good football team with the Jets, and you have a Hall of Fame center on your team. It's like, okay. He was obviously on the leadership group, and we've got a great relationship. It's kind of interesting. His daughter that swims here, she was a little one when I was a head coach. She was a little girl, and we have pictures of Kevin and her, and she babysits my daughters. It's crazy. It's okay. It's compliance said it's okay because of the previous relationship. It's okay. It's not against the rules. We had to go through all that first, but she does. She babysits my daughters. It's like, you can't make this stuff up. It's the truth. And so we're family. We are, and we were excited about it. My girls were happy. We cried when you know, he came out on the field. He was crying. He came in this morning, you know, and he didn't know that stuff was in there. And he comes down to the locker room, he's crying again. I said, would you stop crying, please? You're gonna make me cry, you know? And so it's just great for a guy like that to achieve that award. It's good stuff.
Keeping on, kept us committing after with a couple other quarterbacks. What does that tell you about him?
I love him. I love that kid. He makes your football team better. His persona, his energy, his enthusiasm. He's a wonderful kid. I want him on my football team. That's it. You want guys in the locker room like that? Comes here every day with a smile on his face. He was one of the kids, you know, we said, you know, I said, Ethan, I said, you know, Coach Likens called and said, we got to get up to see you. He says, Coach, you guys are busy. I'm coming. Don't worry. I was like, really? He's that kind of kid. He says, most of these kids, you got to come to my house. We were going to go. And he said, Coach, guys are busy right now. Don't worry about it. I'll be down there. I'm coming. He's that kind of guy. He's a great kid. And he's a great athlete. I mean, a really great athlete. This guy can run and jump. He's something now. Well, no, he's going to play quarterback right now. He's going to compete the quarterback, but he's a good athlete, and he just is. He's a special kid. He really is. You want guys like that on your team, you do. And he's got the traits of being a good quarterback. He's just a really good kid. I mean, he's got a great family too. Still, we're okay. It's a veteran group. Coach Dave did a great job of really using about 7 guys last year. You really feel, last year this time, we were a little bit nervous about our offensive line, right? I mean, because we didn't have all those guys. We didn't have Casey and those guys. It was like, And now I look at it, and that's kind of one of our strengths. We got a lot of guys over there that have played a lot of football and played different positions. Which is good. They've been tackle, guard. They've moved them all. Hemsley Roy. He's playing guard. He can play tackle. He started at right tackle today, I believe it was. And we got a young group of guys that were here last year, along with some new ones coming in. So that's going to be fun as well to watch those big guys get in here. It is, and the quarterbacks figured it out probably 5 years before anybody else in high school that they would be available in spring because they know that's an important segment for them. Because now all of a sudden they get 2 bites of the apple in the spring ball and then in the summer. To me, what I like about it, not so much that they learn the college life. I'm hoping next year we can bring in 10 guys because the practices are the practices. But going away from home in your first time is tough on anybody. And going into the college environment, how do they handle that? It's much easier, in my opinion, to get a guy here in the spring where really games don't count. There's no games. It's just practice, workout, get in the routine, learn how to be a college student athlete without the pressure of competing in a game. Right? So to me, if I was a young kid, I'd say, hey, look, man, I want to get on the campus as fast as I can in the spring. And, here, you're probably going to graduate in 3 years. That helps you, too. So I think all those things are a plus. I think you'll see more kids wanting to do that. And I think that's the way it's going to work. And, and here again, I think for this reason, too, a lot of these kids, they're on a 3-year plan. A lot of these kids, their aspirations are to play on Sunday. And so you're going to get them for 3 years at the most, and they're going to be gone. And we say that's part of our DNA here. We understand that. If you're good enough to go to that league, we want you to go to that league. We do. That helps the program. It helps what we're trying to sell around here. It helps how we practice. It helps everything we do. We say we're the pro model. We want those type of players. I want players to say, hey, I want to go in the league, coach. Good. We know how to do that. We know how to do that here, and we got to get guys that want to come early because I just think it helps them and it helps the program.